And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time again to badge in and close the vault. If you are hearing me now, you're within the SCIIF International Podcast. For those new to the audience, SCIIF stands for Situations, Conversations, Inspiring Intellectual Futures. From low class to outcast to podcast, we're officially worldwide, and we are a show for everyone that is seeking updates from the field. SCIIF crew right here, 5 words, all the way turned up. Turn it down? Heck no. Turn down for what? Freelancers in the uplifting kindness business. That's the vibe we're putting out there into the world, even in the midst of a world that sometimes won't do the same for us. That's okay. Regardless, we're going to go ahead and put that energy out there. Why? Strictly for the culture. Before we get this party started, disclaimer, gotta let you know the opinions expressed are our own and do not necessarily reflect any organization, especially the U.S. government agencies, Department of War, or anything in between. We just some people trying to vibe, have a good time, and hopefully you guys do the same with us. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't introduce the crew to you guys for the week, so let's get this started with the round robin. Of course, you have me, the host and facilitator of this thing, Christian the Hype Man Sledge. Crew sound off for the touch and go. Hey, first and foremost, from the Noya bed, we got Chief B. Rouser. What's up, man?
Hey, let's go, baby. Let's get into this. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, playing center, got my man from El Paso, Justin G. Money Stack. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Sledge?
Yeah. All right, tuck your chain in. Welcome to Brooklyn. We got Natalia Cobbins up in here.
Wait. Let me tuck my chain in. Snatching chains up in here.
Tuck them in.
All right, we got my sister in arms from VA. We got Lorraine, LAMF
Hey,
Johnson.
hey.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and then last but not least, the show's fearless leader. We got the one-woman crowd, always in style. We got Michaela Marate. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Excited for today.
Sweet deal. And of course, shout out to Faye, wherever she is. She's out there doing something. Hey, Faye, what's going on?
Hey, Faye.
Michaela, like, Faye need to get her own show. But anyway, that's why Faye need to get her own show. Got a guest today. We got Joey V. He hails from Wisconsin. What's up, man?
Thanks for the invite, Sledge.
Yeah, man. So, of course, some of this content may be too positive and too uplifting for some. It might create conflicts within your own souls. But hey, this podcast in the name of the Most High, so we are not guilty today. So, Kayla, let's get it started. Our fearless leader, ma'am, what question do you have for us today?
All right, just to start it off as an icebreaker, I'd like to ask you guys how you guys would describe yourself as a leader and how it's evolved throughout your career.
So how would I describe myself as a leader? Over the time, it has evolved. Like when I first started, it was being extremely knowledgeable. I wanted to be the go-to person. I wanted to know exactly how to do whatever it is I was going to do. I've done several different careers in the military. So every time I walked into a work center, I wanted to be the go-to person and the most knowledgeable expert. I wanted to know the book in and out. I wanted to know the answer. I wanted to know how to engage and do what I needed to do. On the flip side of that, as I progressed throughout my career, I am no longer a tactical expert. So now it's about finding the right person and putting those people in the right position to execute. So it's about, I almost look at it as if I'm like a coach on a team and I'm looking at my different players with different talents because no one has the ultimate team. I feel like we're the ultimate team, but hey, shameless plug for us. But, putting your players in the right position to succeed because I know what their strengths are, which are a multitude of different things. So that's my kind of take on it.
Cool. Nat, what you got?
Man, for a long time, I grew into this statement where I truly believe that competence breeds confidence. So the more competent that I became in doing my job and executing, the more confident I became as a leader, building my knowledge, building the wisdom that I can instill on those that work for me or my peers. Also serving. I'm so big about taking care of people. I think as a leader, that's our most important job. As you rise, you got to remember those that are still rising, and we got to take care of them, set them up for success. What do you need to advance in your career? What do you need at home? Knowing your people. Like, I think that's so important as a leader. I make it my business to be all up in your business if you'll let me. I want people to know that I care about them truly. So I think those are the biggest lessons that I've learned. Just, building on my competence, because that's where you get respect. You can lose credibility in a second. It takes a lifetime to build it and a second to lose it. So always building on that and just being a servant leader. I think that kind of sums up the evolution of my leadership.
Joey, what kind of leadership would you describe yourself with? What kind of style you got, my man?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I want to like avoid just being like the boring linear story of where I am now, but I think my own leadership could tell you back as a missile leader, I did not own the leadership aspect of being an officer at all. And I usually describe it as kind of just being like a glorified like A1C senior airman, because it was just a big pot of like 60 LTs. And so they would always talk about peer leadership, and as much as anyone has that, I suppose, like you get that just after enough time. But I don't think I've felt like a leader, in the way that I would kind of just picture an Air Force cut and dry leader until I got here at Davis-Monthan, where just positionally you have to be. So I'm the DO at the comm squadron. And I think if there's anything I do that's a very easy thing to see that's on behalf of the airmen, just making their lives better, is that you're just a mover of obstacles. You don't always come up with like the best ideas. I really actually don't really ever come up with. It's usually bad if you come up with the best idea. But if there's obstacles in the way, which are usually just like they're little things, they seem little to us. Where if there's another unit who's got like a captain who's upset about something, and they don't want to call him back because they're just kind of like, they're like, I can't call that guy back. He's like mad, and I'm not going to call a captain. How do I find him? And it's as simple as just pointing them to global and being like, find that phone number, make the call. And they don't want to do that like on their own sometimes. So you can just kind of call them up yourself, especially when you know those folks. And then you talk to this other officer, and it's weird to see them kind of just be like, wow, that was so great how you made that. Like, thank you. Cause that just saved me like half a day of tracking this person down. Where to like you and I, that's just like the easiest. That's just like the simplest thing. So if I'm moving obstacles out of the way for the airmen, or even more simply put, taking the liability from things off of them and saying, hey, that'll be with me. If that's a big mess up, if that was the wrong call, you're going to tell them that I said that was okay. That's the stuff that frees them up to actually work and feel like they can move forward with stuff. And to me, that's the kind of day-to-day thing that I think is most important with a leader. I don't go and do big speeches. I don't think I inspire people to stay in the Air Force longer or anything like that. I think that day-to-day, though, I can help young airmen just not worry that they're going to get in trouble for something when it shouldn't sit on them, and reminding them of that, being very clear. So please go forward and do that. And you're going to have a job tomorrow. That kind of, that's my thought on it, at least right now. You're catching me at this point in my career. That's my thought on leadership for now.
I can see that leadership is something that evolves over time. A lot of people don't even think themselves as a leader. My personal leadership came from 3 elements and experiences in my career. That was just how my persona is, what kind of power I leverage, and what kind of circle I associate myself with. For persona, I'm sure you guys have done the 16 personalities test to kind of gauge where you are. That has changed over the years. I've turned it from one type of personality to currently I'm the protagonist. I'm a hero. And that kind of does reflect how I am. I'm the type that fights for justice. I'm the type that steps up when folks can't step up because they need someone to step up. I have gotten in trouble quite a bit for being the hero. You guys, at some particular time in my career, you guys have all seen that. Okay, so y'all have all seen that. So I think that it's actually quite there. If you guys have done the 4 lenses test, I have an adventurous lens. I'm in orange, so that kind of defines me. And then lastly is my circle. All the people that I associate with, you guys hear the saying that if you describe your friends, you just described yourself. So if you look at every last one of you guys up in here, y'all just a sample of my circle. Very rarely do I put somebody outside of it that doesn't quite fit in, but that creates a weakness within myself in my leadership style because my power is not the same as everybody else's power. So my power is connection power. As you guys can see, I can connect you guys, and you guys all have me in common, but we're all great people put together.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes I have a lack of like knowledge powers, but I feel like I value connection power because I can go connect to somebody who has the knowledge because I might not have it. So all leadership does, especially when you're put in a leadership position, is amplify who your persona really is. That's all it is. If you want to know somebody's true personality, give them leadership or give them some money, and then it comes out. So yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
give them
mm,
some
mm.
leadership, give them a leadership position, or give them some money, and you'll see what comes out.
That's
And
true.
fortunately,
Amplifies. It
yeah, oh
amplifies your
man,
natural tendencies.
inhibition, yeah, it gets rid of the inhibitions. It's like you're just there. And I'm fortunate to know that put in a leadership position that all those things that I have in common with you guys have amplified. So to me, that's what kind of leader I am. I'm the one that kind of has, a hero complex. I have an adventurous complex. I use connection power in order to put things together. And then from there, I know I have weaknesses within that, and that's a whole nother conversation, but I try to use the connection power to leverage and what those gaps are.
Wait, I got a reattack on that. So, Hype, to your point, I just want to break this out for people so they clearly understand this. Knowing yourself is just so big. Like you alluded to, hey, I took these different tests, these personality tests and things like that. And that helps you become an effective leader because you know yourself. And if you know yourself, you can essentially then go and help other people, connect people, and things like that. So that's big. And then secondly, walking the walk. How can I tell somebody to do X and I'm not willing to do it myself? Too
That's
many
right.
times unauthentic leaders are out there saying, hey, go do this, go take that hill, go clean this bathroom, some stuff like that. And they're not willing to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. Right.
Hmm.
So how are you going to tell me to stay late and you not willing to stay late?
Mm,
So there's some
Yeah.
personal sacrifice there with leadership.
yeah.
And then finally, I just want to bring up John Gottman's ratio of 5 to 1, right? It's a study about you need 5 positive interactions to overcome 1 negative one. So when you have people and you have this like criticism for somebody and you haven't built that equity, that social equity with that person, and you're just criticizing, bam, it's going to take 5 interactions to turn that one around. So if I'm challenging you openly in front of people, we haven't built that equity, then you're gonna be like, man, I'm turned off from Hype Man. I don't want to hear nothing he got to say. Only thing he does is he negatively interacts with me. I'm done. So we gotta
Oh,
we gotta realize that 5 to 1 ratio is big.
yeah. It is
So
cool. Yeah, it's good. And it's good to make sure we highlight that because one experience that I've had over and over and over again in my career is the fact that nobody or maybe a supervisor or something like that did not take the time to get to know who I am. Like, what kind of leader is this person? We've talked about this before, using somebody's talent and using that as leverage versus saying that this person's not like how I want them to be. Well, what are they? What are their talent? What kind of leadership style are they? And can I put them in a position where I do get a return of investment? It's exactly where I need him or her and things of that nature. So I take my time with my CGOs and everybody I have to figure out where their talent is. What kind of leader are you? And then where can I put you in order to manage that talent so that you get something out of it too? I've been in that trap where I've been in a position where there's no ROI. I can do the work, but it's tough for me as my God-given gift. It's not being used. And
Right.
it's just a waste. That's like the energy is going into the ether. At least from my perspective. I know it's getting the mission done, but I struggle.
look, they're telling you, hey man, go program. You're like, bro, I'm a social connector. No, but
Yeah,
this is what I need you to. You're like,
yeah,
man,
we
you're
struggle
not
with it sometimes.
effectively using me. So you got to effectively use people. And I'm not saying grow. There's growth in this. You can see someone not having the abilities that you want to see in your airmen in general, but you got to build that. So I know you're great at X, so I'm gonna put you in that position, and then on the side, I'm gonna kind of grow you on this other part when we have time and space to kind of stretch you out instead of just, all right, do this, that's it, that's all we got.
I think and I haven't been in the military long,
I've seen
but
you before that.
I think that over time I have grown a little bit from like BMT to tech school until now. I know that in tech school that I was in sort of in leadership role. I was a green rope for my team.
Green roll.
Green
Yeah,
Rope Mafia.
and
Green Rope Mafia.
I remember the green rope.
Yes. And so, like, I came in like really hard, hitting super strict with my team. I was like, okay, we're going to be super early to like these show times. We're doing these a certain way. And then over time, I was like, okay, I should talk to my people, and just learning that as a leader, you should be able to talk to your people and be like, hey, what am I doing wrong, or what can I do better? And I see that in some of the leadership that I have now. They'll be like, hey guys, like, what can we do to improve flight morale, or what can we do to improve the flight in general? I know that my squadron has implemented the Airmen's Council. I'm a part of that. It's me and two other representatives of each flight in our squadron that represent the airmen, because I know that a lot of airmen don't like to go to leadership or isn't comfortable with going to certain ranks about things. So we've made it kind of a safe space to have other airmen talk to us, and then we direct that to leadership themselves. And I know that's been really helpful in getting certain things done, because my leadership didn't know certain issues were going on. They were like, yeah, I know that my captain was like, oh, that's an issue I wasn't aware of. And we were like, yep, it's been going on since we got here. So
Mm.
it's just like, I think for my leadership specifically, I like to look at other people and I'm like, okay, this is what they need. This is what I can do in the position that I'm at.
And if I
Yeah.
can, I don't want to beat the dead horse, but Kayla really made me think of something that I think is really important to share, that leadership happens at every level. Don't think you're too young to lead. And your leadership is going to evolve for the rest of your life. You don't have to have it perfect. It goes back to the whole 1% every day. Every day, I'm trying to surround myself with the right people. I'm trying to take in the right things, leadership podcasts. I'm reading, like, continue to infuse yourself, and your leadership will continue to evolve. It's never going to stop if
Absolutely.
you're a real leader, because you know that there's always room for improvement on the journey. So I love what she added.
I wanted to have a follow-on question, kind of my main question tying into leadership. How does good or bad leadership affect a unit? And have you guys seen or witnessed bad leadership firsthand?
Yeah, I think we all have had that experience at one point in time or another, whether it was in tech school or whatever the case may be. It completely crushes the morale and the effectiveness of the unit quickly, very effectively does that. Just like an effective leader can make your unit move effectively, an ineffective leader can completely demoralize and displace how things function within your unit, regardless of where you want it to go. So it literally is such a crazy experience when you have that, and or like there's no support from the leadership or whatever the case may be for whatever reasons. Like, I always have to give the leadership a, even if it's when it's considered quote unquote not good, I always have to consider like what's going on their end. Everybody's fighting a battle, you have no idea what's going on, and I just feel like it's a lack of connection and a lack of understanding of each other's situations that causes that. But we're not spending the time to figure that out. We're too busy trying to get the mission done. But guess what? How I'm feeling and how you're feeling is a part of that mission. Stop
Mm-hmm.
separating those things. They are the same. If we don't
Absolutely.
Mhm.
stop and smell the roses and figure out what the leadership is going through, if the leaders don't stop and figure out what we're going through, then we never get to that point where we can move forward. We just
Mm.
move with three wheels when we could have moved with four. We're getting there, but we're not getting there efficiently, and no one is stopping to smell the roses and say, wait a minute, this is not moving like I want it to. Let's stop and figure it out. It's okay to stop the mission sometimes, to back up and then go forward. There could be bad people in bad leadership positions, sure. But most of the time, bad leadership is usually a disconnection between the mission, the person, the people. It's a disconnect. And we won't stop to figure it out before we move forward.
Lead people, manage the mission.
Love that.
So I have something on that. So good or bad leadership, and how has it affected you? I would tell you this. Good teams have some similar attributes. They're always on time. They're professional. They have high synergy. They can get objectives complete in a good, succinct timing. Bad teams with bad leadership, they're usually not on time. They are late. They are unprofessional. They don't do the things needed to accomplish the mission. That could be similar in sports, in a auto hobby shop. I mean, you name it. Any place where you have humans interacting and you have a leadership construct, you have to have a leader that kind of ties it together. And if you don't have that and you have something bad, you'll see it start to fray at certain levels within the team. Yeah, could they still get the objective done with bad leadership? Yes, but at what rate? And how efficient are we? Because it could have taken us, let's say, 10 minutes to get this job done if we were all, in sync. But instead, it took us an hour.
We gotta ask
So,
why.
yeah,
I
and
don't trust
sometimes
you.
yeah, I don't trust you. I can't push that to you because I don't know what you're going to do. And then that timing, time is the ultimate currency. You need that in order to do a lot of different things, man. So yes, we've all encountered bad leadership. And what I've strived to do is when I've encountered it, I've used it as a mental note to highlight to myself of, all right, I need to be a little bit different. I need to, all right, I'm not going to be like that guy, or I'm not going to be like her. I need to ensure that I'm connecting with my people on a, on a deeper level so they understand like, oh, all right, Chief's not just this guy. He cares about me. He cares about my family. He cares about more than just the mission, but the mission is the ultimate goal. So you just got, like you said, you got to kind of interconnect those things.
Love that, Chief. We learn lessons from both positive and negative leadership. We learn what to strive for, we learn what not to be, and we take that with us as we go through our careers. And then, even back to the premise of controlling what you can. So sometimes negative situation force you to rise up and be the leader you didn't know that you could be. In taking care of those around, being positive. I was definitely in a toxic leadership situation. And what I brought out of that is that positivity can change a lot. And that's all that I could bring at that point. I was a senior airman at that point, so I didn't have much, authority. But what I did have control over was my attitude and the attitude that I brought to work and the smiles that I shared with everyone, even though I knew everyone didn't want to be there. Nobody trusted each other, having conversations, talking to my peers. How are y'all doing? Like, you want to go to the gym after this? Let's go to lunch. Let's just talk. Take care of what you can and learn the life lessons from both sides. So that awesome
And that
input
to
from everyone.
your point, I also want to point out, when you have those people within your functional communities or within your team that always point the finger. Hey, this leadership is bad. Or they suck. Oh, this, oh, that. But what are you doing, man? Like, where's your accountability to the team, challenging members of your team to do the right thing? Where's the personal accountability? Because people always can have a critical eye towards leadership without also looking at, all right, what are they going through? What's going on? How can I be a part of the solution versus being, a subversionist? How can I change that? So we really got to understand that piece of it, because we've all been around those people that have been like, oh man, leadership sucks, man. They don't know what's going on, man. They're just in their office, they're just doing whatever. And when they're really trying to probably knock out some problems, or they, that's a blind spot. Help me, right? Like, we collectively own this. This is not just mine. This is ours. And as soon as you can connect people to that and have them understand that it's a joint venture, it's not just the commander and the SEL, it's everyone, the derivatives of us being successful, all of us own it. We all own that patch. We all own that unit for that amount of time. For that time period, we own it. It's not just one person or one entity. It's all of us together.
How do you guys recognize potential leadership in people, and how do you guys help develop others in that role?
Ha! Yeah, let me go ahead and kick this one off. Your attitude. That, how I see you, your attitude. When you walked into my office that first day when you was at ROTC, your
Yeah.
attitude told me exactly where you were going. That's what I need. The can do. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but my attitude shows that I'm willing to go.
Mhm.
That's what sets me off immediately. I feed off that energy. If you got
Mhm.
a can-do attitude, Air Force can make you the best pilot in the world. But if you don't have the right attitude to get yourself to go where you need to go, then it's not happening. Or it's not going to happen as effectively. The biggest thing that I've always heard is your attitude determines your altitude. So if you don't have a good attitude about things, it ain't gonna go very high. So that's the first thing I looked for when it comes to leaders, that can-do attitude, that willing to bring everybody else together and willing to go forward. And even though the challenges are gonna be tough, you're not worried about it. Attitude determines altitude, everything. So it's how you approach it. And leaders need to have the approach mechanism straight before they walk into the building. Period. Period. Dot. So that's what I look at immediately.
I would add being proactive. Are you bringing me problems or are you bringing me solutions? Have you already
Mm.
sought after a couple of courses of action before you brought the problem to me? How motivated are you? And so when you're bringing me solutions to help with a problem, then that's where I see that you are motivated to grow. And that's where I can come in and meet you where you are. But taking the ROTC example, if you are constantly making the same mistakes, let's say I have a junior in ROTC who's making the same mistakes they were making as a freshman. Well, clearly you are not ready for growth and development. So I may not be motivated to lend you my resources. So I think all of that has to be taken into account and being able to recognize and develop future leaders. Because I can automatically see, usually day 1, day 2, who really wants it. And we go from there.
Yeah. And even like you being proactive and aggressive. I've had people come to me and say, hey, ma'am, would you mentor me? Absolutely. If you're asking, I'm not, yeah, sure. Let's go to lunch. Let's talk because you have your own goals already in mind. And now you're seeking when it comes to seeing potential in people. Like everyone said here, it's important for you to be proactive, have that positivity. I feel like I can see potential in someone off the jump. I just feel like I've developed an eye for it, like in what they do and how they carry themselves. There's a lot that goes, but there's also the silent ones that'll be like, oh, I didn't know about this person. Maybe he's not as outspoken, but he's strong here. It's your willingness to stretch yourself when someone identifies something in you. And where do you take it from there?
So recognizing potential leadership and how we do it, there's many different attributes, but me personally, what I look at is attitude, willing to help others, not entirely selfish, because you got to have a tinge of selfishness because you got to want to move to the next level, right? I need this, I want this, because we all have internal motivators that are going to push us to the next level. And then showing up and trying. Like you said, hey, this is hard, but you know what? I don't care. I'm going to show up and I'm going to try the best I can. And to Lorraine's point, having solutions versus problems, bring me both. Bring me the problem, but then also bring me a solution with
Right,
it.
right.
Bring me some courses of actions where I can make a decision based off of what you said. Hey, I'm on a ground level. I know this is an issue. Here are the potential causes. We got like 3, right? And then using that in order to, put ourselves in a position to succeed. Lastly, and that's point. All right, so we got coaching, we got mentoring, and then we have something different that we don't talk about, the big unknown, which is called sponsorship. Sponsorship is a little bit different. Sponsorship is when I'm sharing my resources and my connects with you, and I'm putting you directly in position to succeed. Think of it, I want to correlate it to playing basketball, and I'm the point guard, and I'm driving down the middle of the court, and I could easily throw you this layup, and you're going to dunk it, and that's 2 points for sure. I put you right there versus coaching and mentoring. All right, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to mentor you, but sponsorship is a whole nother level. You don't have too many people that you sponsor. This is my person. I am saying this person is solid. And to become that person, it's a lot of different things you have to show us
Yes.
in order to become that person we're going to sponsor. Attitude, willing to help others, not entirely selfish. Those are some of the things. So just be cognizant of all.
Be genuine. and then I'm done with this, because people can see through anything that's not authentic. So it has to be a genuine response from that person, if that makes sense. If you're just doing it to advance, it's not going to work, right?
Yeah,
You got to
we'll smell
be
it.
your authentic self. And that is what's going to shine. People are going to see that and be like, man, something about that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be you, like you said, Nat. Be you, be authentic. Whatever you are, be you. Don't try to fake the funk, because eventually we'll see the cracks in the armor and we'll be like, see,
Mhm.
I've been me from the start. People know, from Airman Rouser to Chief Rouser, right?
That's
You
right.
know who I am. And I've always been the same, loud, crazy, make them say, that's me. And I ain't never gonna change. That's never gonna change. I'm gonna be 90 years old. Make them say, like, that's just who I am. It doesn't matter what. Be you. Like you said, Nat, be you. I love it.
That's right.